Hello. Today's topic is how long does it take to renounce US citizenship? I'm Olivier Wagner. I've been preparing tax returns, specializing with people who renounce US citizenship since 2012. And today, I will go over the main steps involved in renouncing US citizenship. So here we have this graph, which shows the major steps. As you can see, it might take a year from deciding to renounce US citizenship and filing the final tax return. The first step is to decide to renounce US citizenship. It's a process that might take a few years for people to make a decision. Obviously, there's a lot more involved than the tax impact. There's situation tax-wise that might make this decision imperative, such as if you plan on selling your primary residence and you will face a major tax liability, you want to renounce your citizenship before that sale actually happens. Other than that, people go through their process. It's obviously a very personal decision, which is not reversible. If you give up your US citizenship, you cannot get it back, aside from going through the same process as any other foreigner. Deciding to renounce your citizenship is the first step. Once someone decides to give up their US citizenship, the next step is to contact the US consulate to schedule an appointment. So, of course, it might take a few days to check the information with that consulate on how to actually book that appointment, whether that involves submitting forms by email or something similar. Something to keep in mind that many people don't realize is that the consulate of the country in which you reside has an obligation to accommodate you and eventually schedule that appointment. But any other consulate can, at their own discretion, schedule that appointment for you and let you give up your US citizenship. So that's, as we'll see, there can be major differences in wait times across consulates. So that's something to keep in mind. At major consulates in Canada, Western Europe, Australia, especially in this post-COVID-19 world, you should expect about 6 months or maybe even more to get that appointment. So you would contact the consulate. Some don't even let people schedule at this time. Most will have a waiting list. They currently accommodate their backlog, and once they have cleared the backlog, they'll contact you again to schedule the appointment, but you would get on that waiting list. But in places that don't really have many Americans living, the consulates are less busy and can accommodate people on a case-by-case basis. I had someone in Burma who was able to just walk into the consulate and renounce on the spot. But then again, you cannot travel to Burma, so that only applies if you're already in Burma in the first place. That has nothing to do with US policy, that's the Burmese immigration policies. But I had someone who was in Western Europe, I think it was Germany, something like that, who actually traveled to Azerbaijan to announce. He emailed them and they could accommodate him with a 2 weeks notice, which is a lot shorter than 6 months he would have gotten if he had wanted to get his appointment still in Germany. So, about 6 months at major consulates would be the wait time between the time you request that appointment and the time that appointment actually takes place. So you would attend the appointment. They will make sure that you understand the consequences of what you're doing, that you want to renounce. And if you're an adult, you don't have mental issues, there's a 99% chance that it will be approved. 2 months later, you get confirmation that your renunciation was actually approved. That will be a certificate of loss of nationality, which will be dated as of the date of that appointment, confirming that you lost your US citizenship on the day of that appointment. So the consulate will send the paperwork to Washington, D.C., where the headquarters of the Department of State will approve your renunciation and send you that certificate of loss of nationality. That process will take about 2 months. The following year, the IRS will release its tax forms. And since you were still a US citizen for part of the year, and you have an obligation to file Form 8854, you will need to wait for these forms to be released in order to file your final tax return. So that will be a dual status return, a 1040 covering the part of the year you are still a US citizen, 1040 NR covering the part of the year in which you are no longer a US citizen. The 1040 will work just like any return you filed before, report your worldwide income, claim either the foreign income exclusion or the foreign tax credit. The 1040NR will only report your US sourced income, which most likely will be zero. Form 8854 will be used to determine whether you're covered expatriate or not. And that will be your last interaction with the US government. You will no longer be a US citizen when you already are not a US citizen, and you will not have to file a US tax return in the future unless you actually have US sourced income. All right, thank you very much. I hope to see you around.